everybody, it's Jody and I'm back with another video for you today. Today we're going to be reviewing this Deviser solid acacia topped concert ukulele. So let's get a view. I unboxed this ukulele along with another one from Deviser about 2 weeks ago here on my channel. The company sent these to me for free and I agreed to post an honest review. So here it is. Very pretty. All right, let's get into it. We'll talk about the specs, the design, the playability, sound, and value. All right, so this one is called, the model number is DDS-24, but on Amazon, it's got a big long listing called Deviser Concert 23 Professional Ukulele Solid Koa Top, Koa back and sides, and it goes on and on. So I will post a link below to where you can find this on Amazon. This is one of those companies that doesn't work through dealers. As far as I know, you can only purchase them through Amazon. This one, let's go into the specs. This one has a solid acacia top. They call it, well, in the title, they call it a solid koa top. They get a little bit more accurate in their description. They call it a solid acacia koa top. If you've seen the first review I did of a Deviser ukulele, it also had an acacia top that they were calling koa, and I took issue with that because it's not koa, and the main way you can tell is by the price, because koa only grows in Hawaii and they can only use it if it's fallen down of natural causes. They can't cut down live koa trees, which means the amount of koa is limited, which means the price is going to be higher, and you're not going to find solid koa ukulele for $100 ever anywhere, no matter what. Acacia is the bigger umbrella that koa falls under. It's a family of wood, so a lot of different kinds of acacia are very similar to koa in both looks and sound. So I'm not saying that koa is better, but koa is definitely more expensive. So I took issue with that in my first review, and they actually mentioned that when they emailed me about sending me this one, and I will tell you verbatim what they said. They said, when speaking of this ukulele, they said, it is made of acacia, which is the family of koa. The reason why we put koa on it, because most people will search the keyword as koa on Amazon, so it will bring referral traffic. So I understand the reasoning, but I still think it's dishonest. I mean, they're literally saying, we know people want koa, so we put koa in our listing, so ours won't show up when they're looking for koa. And you could get around that. You could use the word koa without calling it koa. You could say, this is acacia wood, which is in the family of koa wood. I mean, literally what they said. And then you have the word koa in your description. But anyway, I'm not saying that this is not good wood. Solid acacia is a fantastic wood to use for ukuleles. It's just not solid koa, and it can be unclear based off of their title and their listing. So there we have it. So the top is solid acacia. The back and sides are acacia laminate, but so beautiful. I mean, let's just get another look at the wood grain. And they do mention in the listing, because it's solid koa or solid acacia, that the wood grain is going to vary from instrument to instrument, which is fun, I think, and exciting. And this one is definitely just a really beautiful sample. I really love it. Love the look of it. It does not mention what kind of wood the neck is made out of. Probably some kind of mahogany or sapele, but it doesn't say. And the neck is made out of 3 parts, but the joints are nice and well hidden. They're not like a stark difference in color and things like that. So that's the neck. Then we've got die-cast tuners, which are gold in color. The tuners are fine on this particular instrument. I don't really give tuners a lot of thought unless they're not working properly, and these work fine, so they're nice and smooth. We have the Deviser logo on the headstock right there, which is also gold and shiny. It looks like a sticker, but it's underneath this high gloss finish, so you don't feel it, and it's not going to peel off. The nut and saddle are both ox bone. The fretboard is listed as rosewood, and it does have some kind of wood inlays, which is nice for fret markers, and then we have them on the side, which is very nice as well. We have wood binding. So we actually have purfling and binding. The binding is like what's on the corners, and then the purfling is what sits on the top. But since the binding is just a dark wood, and then the purfling has that dual color, I think that looks nice together. I don't think it's like clashing or too much. And then we have abalone, or something like abalone in the rosette. Again, they don't mention that in their listing, so I don't know exactly what it is, but it's really beautiful. And so that is the look of it. They don't say what the saddle's made out of, but I'm guessing rosewood, but I don't know for sure. And then we have acacia strings on it. It comes with strap buttons that also are gold. So we've got a nice like homogeneous theme here with some gold accents. And again, the nice high gloss, which really shows off the wood grain, and I think, you know, makes it look very beautiful. We'll talk about if that affects the sound in a little bit. The high gloss, I do want to mention, goes all the way up the neck. I kind of prefer when they leave the neck a more satin finish, because depending on how you play, sometimes the high gloss your hand can kind of stick to it if you get sweaty or things like that. So there we have it. That is the specs. Let's make sure I got everything. Okay. The weight of this ukulele, I noticed it seemed a little bit heavy, and so I weighed it. It was 23.3 ounces, or 662 grams. And so by comparison, I weighed two other concerts. I weighed my Oscar Schmidt all laminate, and I weighed my Opio Koaloha concert, which is all solid, and both of those weighed almost exactly the same, which was about 19.5 ounces, or 552 grams. So it doesn't sound like a lot, like this is 4 ounces heavier, but when it's only, a little over a pound to begin with, 4 ounces is quite a bit of the weight. So this one it's got some weight to it, and we'll again talk about that when I get to sound. The string action was acceptable. I now have a tool to measure the action. At the 12th fret, it was just under 3 millimeters, which falls just in the acceptable range. I prefer it to be a little bit lower personally, but the string action was acceptable. Worked. So I guess we're getting into the playability section of the review. We've got nice smooth frets. They're not sharp. That's good. The action is nice and acceptable level. And I did want to mention these strap buttons. This isn't really playability, but more like functionality. These strap buttons, let's get a close-up. See how they're kind of like skinny and then they get fat? That can be good or bad. Good and bad, I guess I should say. The bad part is it's really tough to get the strap on. It takes a little muscle to get that strap on. But then once it's on, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to fall off, and it does still like rotate freely, because once it's on that skinny section. So if you are a type of person who likes to take their strap on and off, it's going to be difficult with this style of strap buttons. Of course, you could replace the strap buttons if you wanted to. And also, of course, they are for a right-handed player, the way they are installed. So there we go. That's the strap buttons. Is that all for playability? I mentioned the finish on the neck can hinder playability a little bit. Let's make sure it's in tune again, and then we'll take a listen. All right, let's take a listen. Let's listen a little more. So that's what it sounds like. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the volume. You're just gonna have to take my word for it, because I've got a mic right here, so obviously you're not gonna have any trouble hearing it. It's kind of medium. I wouldn't call it a quiet ukulele. It's got decent projection, it's just not the loudest. I definitely have louder ukuleles than this, but I wouldn't call it quiet per se. So it's kind of like in the middle of the road there. But it does have kind of like a muted quality to it. It's not super resonant. It doesn't like ring out. It just kind of seems a little muted is the word that comes to mind for me. And I have a couple theories to that. I talked about the weight. This is a heavy instrument, and I think a lot of that is because this solid wood top is on the thick side, and so when it's thicker, it's not going to be able to vibrate and be as resonant. And then also this high gloss finish is very thick as well. So I think those two things might be working against it a little bit in the sound category and making it a little bit muted. Now, I do kind of think, I just have this feeling, especially with the cedar top that I'm going to be reviewing next, but with both of them, I do kind of have a feeling the more they're played, they are going to open up a little bit. They just have that feeling like they're just waiting to open up, and that's a common characteristic of solid wood instruments. The more you play them, the more they open up and sound. So that sound could improve with more and more play. Also by changing the strings. I kind of like these strings though. I like the Achilles strings on this because I think this is kind of a bright instrument. So when I was doing the sound sample, I kept like chucking and stuff like that because that's the way I feel like it wants to be played and it sounds the best. The finger picking, it just doesn't have a whole lot of sustain. But it's not horrible. The intonation is decent. It's got good intonation. Even up here doesn't bother me. Intonation's like tuners. I only notice it when it's really bad. And so this one is in the acceptable range for me. I do wonder what it would sound like with the fluorocarbon strings, but I don't know if I'm gonna go there or not with the string comparison on this one. So I think that's about it. It's bright, but a little muted and medium volume, medium sustain, but pleasing. I've enjoyed playing it. If this was your first instrument, I think you would probably be happy with it because it's so stunning. It really is just gorgeous. So let's get into the value of this instrument. So this currently is being sold on Amazon for $99.99. And I think that's a good value because it does have the solid wood top. Beautiful. I didn't really go into any quality concerns issues because I didn't see any. I didn't see any big blemishes. There were a couple spots where I could see a little bit of like glue. See right there at that corner, and also inside the sound hole, like right here. There's a couple places like that where it's a little bit sloppy, but I've only you really have to look for that on this model. So for $100 you get a solid wood, high gloss ukulele. And it comes with this case, which they're saying is 10mm padded case. It's not super padded, but it has it on the sides and the back and the front, which is nice. I do like the finish of this case. I think it's, you know, a lot of people would appreciate the design. It only has one strap, one strap, not backpack straps, and it's, you know, not at all padded or anything. And same with this strap here. But then it's got this nice big pocket with the logo embroidered on here. It comes with a strap. I have the strap on my other ukulele, but it comes with the strap, which again, it's hard to get on, but once it gets on, it works really well. It comes with a polishing cloth, which you're going to want with that high gloss finish. It might start showing up fingerprints and things like that. And it's got this cute little edge, which I just really like. So it comes with that. Now, in the listing, it says it comes with strings. Mine did not come with strings, but mine did come with a tuner, which it doesn't say in the listing. And the listings kind of change sometimes with bundles, so you're just going to have to look when you order it and see what it comes with. Mine did come with a tuner, which I really liked. It even says Deviser on it. $400. So I think that's a good value. But here's the thing. There are so many ukuleles in that price range. So many. It's like, it can be overwhelming. So it's definitely not your only option. And you kind of got to decide what is most important to you. This one is aesthetically pleasing. It's got the solid wood, which hopefully would open up with time. And it's got a decent sound. I mean, I think it's a decent ukulele. This particular one didn't have many blemishes and was set up pretty nicely. And again, stay tuned for my Deviser video where we'll look at all three of them and hopefully get a better feel for the brand as a whole. Let me put it this way. I would give this ukulele to somebody who's interested in learning ukulele with no qualms at all and know that they would really be successful with it and enjoy it. So that's my 2 cents on this. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to play your uke today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.